Morning. Anthony Anderson died in police custody. Now, his family wants to know why no one tried to save him. WJZ and Mike Schuer live outside City Police Headquarters with a story that's not over by a long shot. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Don. Good morning, everyone. No, it's not. Right from the jump, the family was crying police brutality, but police were saying, no, the man choked on drugs. Now the coroner's report, and it really sides with the family on this one. This report from the coroner confirms what the family of 46-year-old Anthony Anderson Sr. already believed. His death in police custody is ruled a homicide.
We know that an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so we've come out here today, and some of us have been doing this campaign for some time against police brutality and excessive force, but we've come out here today to say enough is enough. And we've come out here today to stand in solidarity and in unity with this family to state that these officers need to be charged with murder. And they should be charged to the fullest extent of the law. We won't be intimidated. We won't be frightened by anybody. Because if we are frightened or intimidated, it could be our child the next day. What we are dealing with here is a system in this city. There have been 12 people killed by the Baltimore City Police Department this year alone. So when we stand here today for our dear brother, we stand here today for every single brother and every single mourning family who's lost their family member to police brutality and excessive force.
Anderson died on September the 21st. He was leaving a liquor store near Montfort Avenue and Biddle Street in East Baltimore. Multiple witnesses say an officer investigating drugs grabbed Anderson from behind, hoisted him into the air, and slammed him down onto the pavement now, leaving him unresponsive.
Got to the point he was trying to tell him to get up, and they was kicking him, and he never moved.
The official cause of death, massive internal bleeding from blunt force injuries, including ruptured spleen and multiple fractured ribs.
Initially, police said they caught Anderson in a drug deal and that he choked on drugs. But the autopsy report has ruled that out. Witnesses, including Anderson's mother, say officers beat the 46-year-old man to death as he walked from a corner store through a vacant lot at East Biddle Street and Mumford Avenue. They say plainclothes officers rolled up in a car, then an officer jumped out, grabbed Anderson from behind, then slammed him to the ground as his family, including his 2-year-old granddaughter, stood by.
And there was not an ounce of shame or contrition in the eyes, thoughts, minds, or hearts of these officers who engaged in this savage attack.
A confrontation with police now ruled a homicide.
We do not have a problem with the Baltimore City Police Department. We have a problem with officers that take their job, think they're above the law.
On the evening of September 1st, Anderson's family says he came out of a bar on Biddle Street when he was confronted by police. His mother, son, daughter, and 2-year-old granddaughter were there.
It was told to us that they laughed, they thought it was funny, and when we was telling them that Tony was complaining of suffering, of hurting, that they said he was just faking because he didn't want to go to jail, and that's not true.
Police would not speak on camera, but they confirmed that 3 officers are on paid leave and drugs were not a contributing factor to Anderson's death. Initially, police said he tried to swallow drugs. The family attorney says he will file a civil lawsuit claiming excessive force.
People get taken down in the streets every day. They don't die. They don't have their spleens ruptured.
Death of a man who died in city police custody has now been ruled a homicide.
And that contradicts the story that was initially provided by police. I-Team lead investigative reporter Jane Miller is live downtown with the details. Jane.
Donna, police now confirm what we have been reporting about the death of Anthony Anderson. And now the question, will the officers involved be charged? Anthony Anderson died 10 days ago after being arrested by city police in East Baltimore. Police initially reported he may have choked on drugs he stuffed in his mouth during the arrest. The autopsy suggests otherwise.
They are comforted in knowing that the medical examiner confirmed what they had been saying from day one, that he was killed as a result of being slammed to the ground.
J. Wendell Gordon represents Anderson's family. Family members, he says, were witnesses and watched the encounter between Anderson and the officer.
Grab him just above his knee, lift him up, and then slam him down to the ground with extreme force.
3 officers involved in the confrontation with Anderson are suspended. The state's attorney's office will determine whether charges will be filed. The 3 suspended officers are assigned to the Violent Crime Impact Division, that is a specialized unit of the police department. Anderson's family is addressing the autopsy results. Right now,
local activists and relatives of Anthony Anderson rallied Tuesday night to call for murder charges against 3 police officers who arrested him on September 21st.
We're calling for murder charges. We're calling for these officers to be fired. We're calling for an end to their paid vacation at the taxpayers' expense.
They said he was just faking because he didn't want to go to jail, and that's not true. Tony suffered on that lot. He was handcuffed and suffering, and he died. We want these officers fired. We want them arrested, and we want them convicted. Because if it was a normal citizen that committed homicide, they would be behind bars.
Now, the officers are suspended with pay currently. Right now, the state's attorney's office will make the call on whether or not to charge them.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it?